we have covered the basics of adding text elements to your interface, adding buttons, adding text input fields, and then getting your text to appear on the page when you click a button, or maybe print in the logs. That is great as theory, but now let's take all this together and make our first app. And this is the app we're going to create. It's called Cat Years. It does something very simple. As you can see, you enter your age of your cat, and it gives you a cat's age in cat years. So this might seem quite straightforward because we've covered most of the pieces in here, but there's a little tricky thing. Now it assumes that 1 cat year is 7 human years, so it's multiplying this by 3, but there's a couple of things which are a little bit tricky. You got to convert your text into an integer before you can multiply it by 7, and then convert it back from an integer into a string. So you might know how to do this, you might have a few ideas. If you want to go off and Google it and have a go at this on your own, then more power to you. If you're not sure, if you don't feel up to the challenge, that's fine. We're going to go through this right now. So I'm going to start in XCode by creating a new project. Now, what am I going to call it? I'm going to call it, well, firstly, select app. I'm going to call it the Cat Years app, or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter at this stage. Click next, and I'm going to save it to my desktop as per usual. And here we are. Now I'm going to put the original code away so that it's not bothering us. Make sure the window is nice and big, and we're going to go into our main storyboard. So let's start by creating the visual elements. This should be quite familiar to you from the previous lessons. If you're not sure, then please go back and watch those previous lessons in the playlist and you'll learn the basics. So here we go. Let's go and put a label in. I'm going to call this Cat Years. And then I'm going to select a system size, go 50, nice and large. Keep the system typeface, but go bold. This doesn't quite work for size, 50. There we go. I'm going to put that in the center. Next thing I want to do is ask a question or to give a command. So label, let's pull our label in here. Again, I'm going very fast on this because I've already covered this in previous videos, but if you do find it going too fast, just pause it and you can always rewatch the pieces as needed. Oh, it squashed the bug on itself then. That's quite interesting. So making this a whole width, center align, and my question is, how old is your cat? I'm going to make that a bit bigger again. Maybe go for 25. Done. Move this up a little bit higher. Make a bit of space. And now I want to have a text input so people can put their cat's age in. Really nice and easy. Text field, drop and drag. I'm just going to leave it as the size it is. I don't really need to do anything there. Apart from go to the keyboard type, I'm going to choose number pad because we want to have numbers put in here, not anything else. What's next? We need to add a button, and that button is going to say, make this nice and wide. Get age in cat years. I'm going to keep the system blue because I think that's quite good, but I'm going to take this and put it right up next to the text box. Actually, I'm going to take these two and just move them both down a bit because that really shows that this text here is the button for this box. I'm going to keep the size the same. And finally, I'm going to put a label that's going to be displaying my cat's age. So once again, take it across and take it across. Center align. Size, I think keep it at 25 to be the same. Color, let's go for red. Make this a little bit larger. And the last part is I'm going to put a picture of a cat. So In the previous exercise, we did find a picture of the cat. So I've got mine right. Where is it? It's right here. I'm just going to take this, drag it into my folder. I can just go right there. And say copy if needed, and it's the cat years app. Then I take my library. I want to have a image view, drag it here, make this roughly the right size. We can always change it later on. That looks good to me. Drop down top right, and I'm going to have that cat picture, but the fill's not right, so I'm going to choose a aspect fill. That's filling the space very nicely. So this is starting to look about quite good, but we need to get our coding done. So let's jump into that by getting rid of our things we don't need. Gonna chuck in our other view, squash this to the side. This other view on the left or right? Left, I'm gonna do coding. So view controller on the left. On the right, I can see my item. I only need to see this top area here because these are the pieces that I need to drag into my coding. So I need to think about the text input, I need to think about my button, and think about my label to display text. So let's start with our text input. And I'm going to hold on Control, drag this over here into right under the class view control, and I'm going to call this age text field. It's a UI text field, it's an outlet, because it's where we put things in, and place connect. So there we are. We have our week variable age text field right in place. Let's jump down a bit more, and we need another variable, and that variable is the result, which is that label here. I've kept the basic text saying label for now because it lets me know where it is. I'm not going to lose it on the page. So drag this over, holding down Control once again. And what am I going to call this one? I'm going to call this result label. Once again, using camel case to make this nice and readable. It's an outlet, it's a UI label, it's very easy. Click connect. What's next? The last part of the puzzle. We need to add in our button. So that's going to be a function. Hold down the button, hold down Control, drag this over here, and release. What I'm going to call this? I'm going to call it get age. This is an action, and it's going to be touch up inside as we did before. The name, once again, doesn't really matter. It's just something that I can look to and I know what it means. So now we've done our three areas. We've got our parentheses here. So we know that everything we work in must happen within this section. So what's the first thing we need to do? Well, we don't know if an age has been entered. So we need to use an if let function. So if let age equals age text field, then it's going to obviously be .text. So if we have text in there, and you see just then, it put in my second parenthesis for me. I don't need to add that on in for typing. It just makes life very easy when using Swift. XCode is fantastic software. Then we've got to think about the next thing. We can say, well, we want to have the label to be our age. So we can say result label dot text equals your cat is space. Then we could say plus age plus open quotes space in cat years. So that is your very basic way of doing things, but there is a problem. We cannot just put the age, we've got to multiply it by 7. So otherwise I put a number in and get the same number out. That's not particularly good. So we need to have something here which does a bit of maths for us. As we enter the number, it comes out as just text. That's not really what we need. So we do a bit of conversion here. So first we need to say let age in cat years equal age times 7. Then over here we are saying age in cat years. Okay, we've got some progress here. So age in cat years, age in cat years. Oh dear, here's a problem. What is that problem? It's saying cannot convert value of the type string to expected argument of int, which is integer. Integer just means number. So what it's saying there is that we enter some text into this box here. It's string. String is text. And we're trying to do maths on text, and you just can't do that. So we need to convert this before we do anything else. So we need to just pop in a little function over here. So if let is age as number equals, and then we say int age. Okay, so we've got that. It's if we can do that, we can do this. So we've got a little parentheses there. Let's pop this down, take this, cut this, just paste it right there. So we have here, we have the part to convert. Now before we're trying to convert the age, so we need to modify this part here, age as number. So we know that's a number. We know that's a string, it's an integer, because we convert it there. We've got another problem. What's this? Cannot convert value type integer into expected blah, 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 blah. What it's saying is we've got to put a label here. A label is text. A label is string. So we can't put an integer number. We need to convert to text. There's a few ways to do this, but actually it is quite simple. Up here, we converted age into an integer just by typing int. So you can guess what happens if we type string, then open bracket, close bracket. That will convert our age in cat years back into a number. So we are very close to rocking up. Last thing I do is just delete the basic text over there so that we're not doing anything strange. We're not going to see label when we do anything. I'm designing on iPhone 11. So I'm going to preview on iPhone 11 and click simulate. And here we are. Our simulation is now complete. So I'm going to go into here and start by saying, well, I'm clicking in there. I'm going to choose my cat's age. My cat is actually 9 years old. I'm going to say get age in cat years. My cat is 63 in cat years. There we are. And obviously I can change that down to other factors. If I had a 19-year-old cat, 133. Wow. So there we are. We have created our very first app. I want you to go to the App Store now and just type in cat years. You're going to see apps on the App Store right now, probably free, maybe for sale, but they're doing exactly this. You have made an app that is worthy of the App Store. It's incredibly basic, and after the lesson, the next lessons is going to be taking it further. You're going to be developing your XCode skills, developing your Swift code skills to a higher level at each time. Look forward to taking you on that journey. I'm Dr. Chris Parker. Well done for passing level 1.